Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Check. 1, 2, 1, 2, 4, 5, 9, 12. Welcome to the Cannabis Coffee Hour. With your host, me, Rob Cantrell, coming to you live during a heat wave storm. It's hot as I was gonna say hot as balls, but we need to evolve beyond just balls. You know what I mean? It's hot. It is real hot. I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm not doing video. I'm coming completely. I'm naked, everybody. Not naked. I'm shirtless. Got no socks. I got shorts on, and I got underwear on. But the gut is rocking out. Folds are flapped out. I don't have a huge gut, but I don't give a shit that much. Like, I will eat 5 empanadas in a row, but I do give a shit a little bit. I can't say that. I do appreciate my health, but I'm trying not to be vain about the body and all that sculpty, like, I got serious pecs and I got these fucking lappity laps and I look like a fucking eel, man. Check it out. I'm turning into a fish, man. I'm getting so fucking ripped. Look at these ripples. Yeah, that type of vanity. Dude, I'm 48, so it's like I got a good head of hair. I can walk. I can talk. My brain's working. So everything's fucking grandioso, homie. Grandioso. If you're alive and kicking it and living in this post-pandemic weird dodging Delta funky fucking wild shit out there right now. I had some guests lined up, but I'm making moves. I'm taking a vacation for the 4th of July to celebrate the birth of the United States of America. I'm going to be hiding out in Long Island somewhere. But for a few days with the fam and then coming back. But I'm going to beach it up. Going to try to beach it up. And I got some good sandals. I got some I've been meditating. I got some good sandals, but I need to get some sunglasses. Now, I have prescription glasses, so I haven't balled. When you're balling out is when you're making a good amount of money, is when you can get prescription sunglasses. Like, that's all right. But I got other bills to pay. I'm producing this album. I'm getting some stuff out. I'm paying some bills. I'm knocking some stuff out. So, yeah, I am, it feels like everybody's starting new. I know that's how I feel with stand-up. Like, I missed a stand-up show. I haven't been booking stuff, but people booked me, and then I apologized. There was a gig in Bushwick, which was like a legalized cannabis gig, and I missed it. I just been really just concentrating on getting the home front together, I think everybody's in that, because it feels like everything's starting to work out and hopefully stabilize and we can just get this thing up and running again, and I can get real dates up on the calendar. I mean, I got dates coming in and I got dates up there. I'm really looking forward to this Bell House date in the beginning of August. I always liked the Bell House. And it's Brooklyn, and over the years, I've just performed all these weird different places. So people do come out for me, and I'm excited to see the vibe. Every time I've performed, it has been pure fun on stage. Have my sets been perfect? No. But have they been joyful experiences in the existence of life? Yes. They have been joyful participants in the game of life, or the game of death. That's Bruce Lee's last movie, The Game of Death, and that's when, dude, he meets Kareem Abdul-Jabbar right up at the top, man, and then he beats him, and then he goes into this room that it's all mirrors, because ain't nobody messing with you but you, and he has to battle himself. It's wild, very deep, very dope. I threw a Grateful Dead reference out there. I just got hip to one of these roadies, Big Steve from the Grateful Dead. He has a show on Sirius Satellite. I love it. That dude's that dude's the real deal. He reminds when I worked in San Francisco, there was a lot of people that still worked for Bill Graham Presents. So a lot of the bouncers and bar dudes and concert guys, they all had that kind of, I don't know, just there's just that vibe, that kind of like concert music venue in the band type vibe. And that's what this guy just has a ton of stories. So check him out. Shout out. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I know the Grateful Dead is 60 years old and their fans run so deep and so thick. That's what's crazy about these motherfuckers. I won't say motherfuckers. Yeah. But he was a roadie, and he was like Jerry Garcia's favorite like right-hand man. And I just got turned on to him. I didn't know much about him, and then I just ended up stumbling onto a show on Satellite, and I was like, oh, this is dope. And then I checked him out on Instagram, and he's like smoking big fat joints and talking about the Muggles and talking. So he knows all about the beatniks. And the dude that I always tripped out on was the Gold Leaf, was the original weed dealer. What was that dude, man? Really, the blues. He wrote that. Mesmero. Yeah, Mesmero. So I don't know. I've traced a lot of this shit in terms of like beatniks to hippies to like 70s rocker like dudes to like to Gen X, grunged out, and now it's like full on super hipsters. And now it's even beyond that, like Afro punk. And now everything is like fractioned into all kinds of, the world is so beautiful in the sense that there's so much to choose from. So right now, I mean, you really, if you can't find what you're looking for, you're not looking, man. It's just all out there. And that's what I'm doing. I'm drinking today. I'm enjoying two of my favorite things, coffee and cannabis. Let's get it back to coffee and cannabis. I'm drinking my own home-brewed cold brew. I switched over Monday. Like, there's no way I'm making hot. It's like 90. I was in my car the other day, and it was like 107 it was reading. So it's like you just lay low, and I don't do air conditioning. I do in my car, but I don't do in my apartment. Like, we just have ceiling fans, and we just sweat it out. But I kind of like it that way. But today I'm drinking Lavazza, or Lavazza. That's Torino, Italy, 1895. Now, I always thought Lavazza coffee has the best font. They got some ill font, man. Their logo is dope. Torino, Italia, 1895. And I got the Classico. This is medium roast, rich and full bodied. Now, I had to grab this ground. I usually get the beans or grind it myself. But to make iced coffee, it's not the biggest deal. And then I just do 10. I've got it down to a science. If you want to just grab a bag of grounds and you just put 10 tablespoons of ground coffee in your fucking French press bucket, and then you just fill it with tap water the night before, fill it all the way up to the top, mix it twice, just spin it around, get it all mixed and make that mud, and then you put it in the refrigerator, and in the morning you do the press. That's when you French press. So you cook it with the cold. That's what's so crazy about cold brew. Like regular coffee, you heat it up and you burn the water, you burn it, and you cook it that way. But this way, you cook it with being cool. You're feeling cool. But it definitely has like a caffeine kick That's another level. But the only problem is when you do the grounds, it almost gets too much. So this lit me up. Like, this is not, I'd be very careful doing this. This has messed me up before. Like, I think my body can handle it because I just drink so much coffee. But I don't know if you're not a caffeine fiend, I would stick to grinding the beans or just being a little bit careful making cold brew with grounded coffee, already grounded coffee, because it's so silty and so grinded so fine that it just gets in the water too much. Like, a good French press, you want the fucking beans a little rocked out, meaning you want it a little rough. Like, when it's so silty, it just gets right. The filtering mechanism doesn't work, and then you're drinking it, and that's when you get all that coffee silt at the bottom. And that's not bad at the top of the cup of the coffee, but towards the end, you get a gulp of that shit. You're hitting the commode, man. That's what happened to me. I don't know. Sorry to tell but it worked out. It'd been 48 hours before, everything's been flowing. I've been thinking about how we are. I've been meditating. Once you start realizing what the ego is, I don't know everything. I'm just saying, at least I can notice my ego now. I can notice it, and I see it. And I also notice what isn't my ego, what isn't my thoughts. And that's more real. The real thing is just you're the plant. You're on this planet and you're growing, Even the idea of ownership, even the idea of connected. I mean, we're just these organic things that are growing, and all there is to be kind and decent to each other, because the shit gets harder and harder. But there's a payoff. There's all this good, wonderful stuff. Great iced coffee, hanging out with my shirt off, smoking glass one-hitters of finely ground cannabis. I'm at the tail end of I was doing good. That's the only problem with cannabis. It always runs out. I was doing good for a while, but I'm at my really last few bowls. But this is it. It's I still got. It's Jack Herrera. This is a great sativa cherry Jack. Check it out. This is for stuff like I might start doing push-ups in the middle of this podcast. Like, this is the stuff you smoke right before you do some push-ups, right before you do some pull-ups. I need to get into a little bit into pull-ups. I do like being strong enough to push off people. I always said that. The reason I do push-ups is to push off. Like, I don't fight. I push and run. That's the way to get out of shit. Push, cause a diversion, and then get out of there. If you can. But, yeah, I'm going to try some of this Cherry Jack. And then we'll talk a little bit more and vibe out. Good things are coming. I can feel it. Let's taste some of this Cherry Jack. Finely ground. Ah, I love cannabis. That tasted so good. And this has been a really good creative weed. I mean, I've been working on some stuff. I'm writing. I'm trying to get better with my journaling and being a little bit more disciplined on writing every day. But I just got my meditation down, and I have been doing my 5 Tibetan stretches. I do these 5. You can check them out on YouTube. I swear to God, they help me. I don't know about you, but I do that, and it does help me right before I meditate. So lately I've been waking up like at 6:30, and the last few days, I don't know, like resentment and jealousy and all kinds of, all these old feelings started to bubble up. I just think, I'm still figuring out how to move in the comedy world. And book gigs and everything, because everything's just like weird. So it feels like I'm starting all over again. But that is, you want to get to a beginner mind. That's what I've been concentrating more on, is like the beginner mind state, is like just look at everything brand new. The other thing is with meditation, like the thoughts are there. Like I'm learning just to let them flow by and recognize them for what they are. And the only thing that's so powerful about the brain, that those thoughts can trigger emotions. And that's when you start getting hyped in the shower, or start, and I was told this motherfucker, I can't believe you did this to you. You know, all that flight of fantasy, that you have these arguments in your brain. And, I just woke up, I got on social media, I saw some other person, I just saw some other, and my head just started going down there. So lately, and I don't want to wake up bummed out. I was just waking up angry. So lately at like 6:30, like I burned some Nag Chamba, some classic fucking incense. Don't you love some Nag Chamba? Just for a second. Like I don't, too much incense is too much. Then you're like, oh fuck, man, what the fuck happened? But just a little bit, just to get the must out and clear the funky demons. I don't know if that's real, but that it kind of helps me. But clear the funky demons, and then I've been doing my 5 Tibetan stretches. You start by like spinning in a circle, and then you do these leg lifts, and then you do these back stretches, and then you do like these tabletops, and then you do this downward dog, humping the earth type thing. And you do that like you just, it's really quick and easy, but it does like stretch everything out, and it kind of builds it up. But it's not like hardcore lifting weights, It's not like, it's more about flexibility, and that's how I want to, with being older, it's all about flexibility and survival, and taking the punch, and learning how to react. But I pop off. I still lose it. Like I'll get so zen, and I think I have it all. Like completely dead my ego, and I still end up getting in like some weird argument or something. But you have to face those things. That's what I'm learning. Like you have to face whatever is in front of you. And but that's what I love about doing this podcast, because every week I gotta knock one out. I'm about to leave. It's the 4th of July. There's travel energy up around. It's so hot. Nobody wants to lift a finger. All you want to do is fucking rub ice cubes on your nipples all day, and sit in front of a fan. Like it's that type of vibe, But you can't. You got to get out there and make some money and get the machine up and running. But you can too. But you have to face it. You have to get up and face it. So it's another day. So yeah, that's what I've been doing, is just learning to meditate even more. And it's been getting tricky. Like I get fidgety and stuff, but my posture has getting better. Like the more I do it, the more naturally my spine is straightening, and more naturally my head is lifting and my chin is lifting. And now I can kind of incorporate that when I'm walking around, or if I'm doing something and something kind of pops off, and I learn, it kind of teaches you to turn and face it like in slow motion. That had some that had some visuals there on it, some Matrix visuals. That's what I mean, that's kind of a mainstreamy 90s reference, but it is what it is. They did it very well with the slow motion footage in their movie to depict intense moments. Slow motion has always been cool. Like that one video by Spike Jonze is just a dude running down the street on fire in slow motion, and that was heralded as like the best, music video of all time, just because it was out of the box, but yet so simple. That's really what I'm longing for. Oh, and that's what I'm doing here. It's just a man with a microphone with kind of a gut and gray chest hair, smoking a glass one hitter with a glass of seltzer and some homebrew, cold brew that will rip your gut on fire but make your mind spin like a dragon. That's what we're doing, baby. It's the Cannabis Coffee Hour. Like and subscribe. We're drinking real Italian Lavazza coffee, which is so good. Yeah, I've been getting into incense, some nog chomp, but not a lot, but just burning it a little bit in the morning. And then watering plants. I was talking to my other dude, maybe just because I'm getting older, but I think it's a lot with technology. Light gardening. Dude, I'm composting. I'm composting all this shit, man. In this outdoor space, I've been composting all this leaves. I'm making real dirt. Soon I'm just going to sell dirt off the website. It's the Cannabis Coffee Hour. You know, people smell weed. People sell seeds. I'm just going to sell bomb-ass dirt. I know that's already a thing in the growing industry, the cannabis growing industry. Shout out to Danny Danko and all my friends over at High Times. That whole scene, that whole movement, you know, I've always rolled, but I'm not super technical with the stuff. I've never grown herb. I probably will. It's just the money thing after a while, you know, and environmentally, and as we move towards more of legalization, what was the thing? Oh, I think, legalization was coming up to the Supreme Court, like in the U.S., so that's a trip. The world is changing, man, every day. I'm changing. I'm trying to change. I'm meditating. What am I trying to change? Yeah, I'm trying to be my genuine self. I'm trying not to live in my thoughts and be like just, you know, on the one. That's anytime my mind starts wandering like too far, I take a deep breath and it brings it down back to and I try to focus right on the one, like right now. It's just pretty much that thing. Because the mind will go and then go, as is great for podcasting and comedy and creativity. But sometimes, you know, it's like, I think life is like, it's most like it's self-manicuring. Speaking of, I need to chop some fucking toenails. I've been eyeing up toenail clippers. You know, I use my wife's, and that's not that fair because these things, I mean, I've been good. I've been taking vitamin E. Well, I ran out, but I'm going to start taking it again. My COC10, which are these like heart vitamins. It's pretty much like what's in salmon. What makes salmon red is like that COC. It's like that. It's like high-end fish oil. And then I've been taking that. And then I take emergency, just a thing of emergency. And then I take vitamin E and a little bit of vitamin D. And everybody's taking but I was always taking vitamins. My mom takes vitamins when I was, you know, I know it helps me. But it could be a mind thing. It could be an all, you know, the more I meditate, the more I believe it's all an illusion. Great song. I don't know. I mean, all the illusion, but I really think a lot of with Buddhism is just taking what the information you have in this moment and processing with whatever's happening right now and using whatever you have to work through it, you know, and starting afresh and starting anew in each moment. But the ego clings to this idea of self, which is cool. You know, I think it's good for families and, you know, there's my mom, there's my dad, and here's my friends, you know, in the immediate. But after a while, you know, it is just blades of grass. You know, it's just like we're a part of something much more bigger and organic, which is the planet. We're all going back to the dirt. Don't ever forget it, you know. That's what's so crazy about organic stuff. That the compost, like I'm just putting leaves in there. And those leaves will end up just turning in 2 months. It's just the composter is literally just like a black jug it's literally a trash can with no bottom that just goes into the ground. and it makes leaves into dirt, which is everything. And not everything. There's water, and there's sunlight, and there's human beings. Excited to get out there and do comedy. It's a bummer about the cause, man. I hate to laugh, or I don't want, but I know I have to say something. But Bill Cosby got released, and it's just, I don't know, man. It's, I think sexuality is being in power, and sexual assault and women empowerment, it's all coming on really fast. I really think that the internet is just fast forwarded so many of these issues that society turns away from for whatever reason, just to keep things cool and norm, that now with all the information, we have like infinite information and infinite time to sort through some of the ugliest parts of humanity. I don't know. That's how I'm processing it, and I think it's terrible and awful. My heart goes out to all the victims and anybody triggered by it, and it's a bummer for comedy. But as an artist, like, the more I deal with myself, and the more I don't look to others, and the more I don't give power to others, is kind of where I'm going deeper with my meditations. And I'm trying with comedy and art, and even with, like, political power play, there is that like hero worship thing where I'm just fucking done with that shit. I'm too old for that shit. And I'm just lucky to be alive, and whoever's doing their thing, I hope they're doing it well and wake up tomorrow, and just being the GOAT or being the best, especially in the world of entertainment, like, that's on you. Everybody's, I'm doing this for my own reasons and to make it my own tales of vanity and ego. But comedy is fun. Creating is fun. Being creative is fun. And if you can make money at it and make a living at it, it's the best gig going. That's just how it goes, At least that's what I've figured out. So I am just psyched to get back out there and do some funky, fresh shows. I'm trying to place it just a little bit different. But also, you can't control it too much. You have to hold on loosely a little bit and figure out where this is all going, because the Delta variant could come right back and get us all back inside. And what I'm learning is that even how complicated and weird and sticky the situation is, you have to look at it and deal with it and process it. And if you suppress it, it only makes it worse and grows. And, you do have to look at it. But there's so much to look at right now, that I'm choosing to go more inward and more simple. And I want to do that with my comedy too, some coffee and weed and music. Because I don't know how much time I got. I keep on saying that. I shouldn't dwell. I try to think about my own death, and what helps me lately, just because it helps you dead your ego and think, you shouldn't think about how things I should practice that more with this podcast, because I get stressed out sometimes about doing it, or if I'm revealing too much, or if I'm talking too far out, or if I'm holding too much in. You just learn as you go, and what is good is, will float to the top. I got this great glass one hitter, but it's been 2 weeks and they're already clogged to the bone. I need the Formula 420 super baggy washout routine because now I'm just starting to taste the resin so much, which is, I think in my older days I was just so strong with it, but as I get older, anything harsh vibes, bro. You just want to kind of, it's. But once you find the balance, you're good to go. But like right the other day, I was cooking on the stove when it was super hot, man, and I was using the oven, and there was no AC, and I was cooking with hot grease. What was I cooking? It was hot grease. It was olive oil. It was olive oil. I know I made French fries, but I had the hot grease going, and I was frying something, and then I was shaking the pan, and the grease, the hot oil kind of flipped out and splashed right on my hand, and it burned my hand like fuck. And I was already sunburned. I got to go whitewater rafting last week with my family. I did that out in Pennsylvania. I try not to, show too much of like the home life, but yeah, that's who I am. I got a family, and I'm Rob Cantrell, and I do comedy, and cannabis has been part of the gig from the get-go. And but I burned my hand, and I'm just saying at like 48, like the burn hurt, but I knew if you ever burn yourself, you got to get it right underneath the water. It's cold water. So I did that like ASAP, and then I was putting ice and everything, and then I even poured some tea tree oil on it, and then I had some antibiotic later. I put that on it. But still, like the next day, it wasn't bad. It was just red. But now it's like a brown patch of dead skin that's peeling off. And I took a shower, and it was about to fall all the way off. And I knew from old times that whenever I did something like that, when I took a shower and had a scab, and it looks good to let it wash off, but you shouldn't. Sometimes you got to let the scab get there. So now I'm just trying to let the scab dry out. But there's a dance between, keeping it clean. Because if that whole, like, it's not I hope I'm not grossing anybody out, but it's not like a chunk of skin. It's just like a little splash. So it's like a half an inch by, 2 centimeters. Like, it's like, but the next day it's like, just thrashed. And that's what happened, but it just looks gnarly. But it made me, I didn't want it to wash off because I was like, the skin, that's a hard one. When you burn yourself, that hurts. And because it just the pain lasts for a long time. But I did fall asleep and it went away. That was one thing that I learned. And then also, what was I? Oh yeah, I didn't let it wash off. And I was just thinking, like, everything is such a gift, even the skin is just amazing. It's like waterproof, and it looks good. It's smooth. You can shave it. I don't know, but it breathes. It's hot. I don't know, man. It's just, but I do know that once you skin it or burn it, or if you ever had like road rash or any of that shit, like it just burns. Like you realize like that's an organ. Like that's like the skin is like the heart. I've been doing that in meditation. Just like they say with the breathing, you're pretty much just trying to align your mind and your body. And a lot of your body's centered in your heart. So I've been trying to, when I breathe, like I try to breathe the air as deep into my heart as possible. Does that make sense? Just like it's the attention. That's what you start to realize is like when you meditate, all the thoughts are flowing out, and you could be like, oh, check out those thoughts, yo. And then you can also be like, you could put your attention. That's something I have written down that I look at. Let's take a moment for intention. Like, what are we doing here? Well, I know what I'm doing. I'm drinking some Lavazza coffee, and I'm smoking some cannabis. And I'm talking about stretching and meditation and comedy and world events. But one tune that you got to check out. This tune, I can't believe I did. I've heard it in movies before, maybe, but Joe Walsh is a very good rock and roll music singer-songwriter. He was one of the Eagles, and then he wrote a lot of good Rocky Mountain Way. Like he was some really great classic rock solo joints. But a good one, Joe Walsh, that I found on Spotify that has been blowing me away is A Life of Illusion. Check that out. I'm looking at the song. It's written by Joe Walsh. Okay. Yeah, he pretty much did most of his production and songwriting on all his stuff, man. He's kind of like that J.J. Cale type of character. Check out J.J. Cale. I don't know. The older I've gotten, it's just more chill, just good singer-songwriter stuff. I like good singer-songwriter stuff. And it's not too pretentious, and it's just fucking straight up. That shit's good. I was talking about. I was getting into music, right? I was checking out Galactic. I was checking out Galactic's a great funk band. I guess they opened Tipitina's. I saw him years ago in the early 90s, a bunch. And in the late 90s. No, it wasn't the early 90s. So it would be when I was out of college. So that would be more like 97 through 99 I saw Galactic. I saw him in San Francisco, I think, like at the Warfield on New Year's. And then I saw him like outside of Aspen when I drove cross country. And I crashed at my friend's couch. Man, I have my friend Jake lives in New Orleans. I don't know if he listens to the podcast. I haven't talked to him, but I love him. Jake, you know my boy. He lives in you're my boy. He lives in New Orleans. I haven't talked to him in a minute, but he loves Galactic. I was just thinking about a good mushroom story, and one of the best times I ever had, and it was with a bunch of friends after college, and I went out to Colorado, and they all were living in Aspen at the time, like right out of college, but they all lived together outside of town and worked at the liquor store and random places and shit, doing that ski bum shit right off the get go. But they were so cool to me because I came out there, but we went and saw, what was it? Oh yeah, Maceo Parker at the Double Diamond, which is this little fucking rock club in the town of Aspen. But it has big bands, but it's like a little tight little venue. And everybody came out, and it was the funkiest. I remember we all ate mushrooms and saw Maceo, and it was horn players. I remember the horn players. And there's something about being on psychedelics and hearing horns. That shit is fucking crazy. Because horns are like powerful and majestical. And when you're used to rock, like, but when you're like real, like not sampled, like a brass fucking instrument blown into to make an odd squeaking noise that heals a part of your soul that you never even knew. To have that going on, like I remember, and it was a bunch of beautiful girls and cool people. I mean, it was just all young and fun. I remember it just being really bouncy and happy. And I just remember being so happy to be alive. I mean, I'm happy to be alive, but it's good to be young and have fun. And you can have fun now. I've been itching for more live music, That maybe be a direction to take this podcast. I mean, I'm still developing this podcast. Support the Patreon. Check me out at Rob Coffee. We're still getting that thing up and running. I got a whole new line of stuff coming out, like we're just organizing this idea and getting it out there, meaning I want to do more video shows. This is my part naked, strictly audio heatwave funk file, number 134, Lavazza. Homebrew, cold brew. Doing it once again. Having a blast. Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Please subscribe, listen, tell your friends. And if you want to be sponsored on the Cannabis Coffee Hour, we're going to take this out into the field. It's evolving daily, hourly, minute by minute. We're getting better and better, setting up a great platform to drink delicious coffee, kick it with the good people of the universe, and drink some seltzer and smoke some fine, free, not free, but, legal cannabis. It's all leaning there. But it's not there, it's not there all the way yet, So I still feel a little, covert in some of these operations. I don't know. But I do think I see more and more like cannabis seltzer drinks and CBD. This hard seltzer thing, I just quit drinking booze. And I love seltzer so much, and I like getting hydrated. But I get the booze buzz, I get it. It is fun, but I just drinking hard seltzers. I get it, but I don't drink them. White Claw. I don't drink any of these. But that's the new shit. That's what's weird. That's what's tripping me out. And now they're having cannabis infused ones, and yeah, the world's going all wild, but in a very cool way. That's what I was talking. We were talking about how scary some of this Trump shit is, or the environment. That's just where I'm at. But it is fascinating, all this shit. Like, it's definitely not boring. I miss going out, but I'll get out to live music soon. I feel, I'm seeing more and more live stream shows out there, seeing more filled venues out there, hearing less cases. So this is all good news, man. This is all good news. Yeah, I was mostly just been meditating, stretching, getting some of these new tunes together. I'm making music. So I'm trying to say Tyler the Creator, Lumberjack, that's a great joint. Sweet Jane by the Velvet Underground. I got lost in that the other day. That's really great. And then one of the best hip-hop songs is Creation, Gucci Gucci. I mean, it's fucking fire. And Widespread Panic, Wandering. That's a good song. Check that out. Giraffes, Sickness. The Giraffes are a Brooklyn band. And I did a show with them, and it was crazy, man. It didn't go that great. It was a punk rock show. It was for that. They didn't know they had a comedian, and I had to open up for this band, and it just, it wasn't that great of a set. But I got turned on to this band, and I thought they're pretty funky fresh. Check them out. Yeah, I've just been going deep. Yeah, there is a new tune, Soulja, and Stick Figure. Yeah, that tune is pretty ill. What is that tune? Something to Believe In. I like that tune. That's cool. And then 2 Tickets to Paradise by Eddie Money. And then Cramp Your Style by I don't know. I don't know if you heard that, but that was it's the same break as DJ Cool, Let Me Clear My Throat, who was a DJ from DC, a go-go DJ, and he had one song, and it was Let Me Clear My Throat, and it was from a mixtape of a live performance, which is very rare in hip-hop. And then that became like one of the biggest albums. That's the behind the music I want to see. That's the documentary on Netflix I want to see. DJ Cool, Let Me Clear My Throat. Like, the thing is, like it's the weirdest album. Like, it's literally like an hour. It's like Steve Miller band, Frampton comes alive. Like, Peter Frampton never really had any joints after he couldn't beat that one album. Like, do you feel like I do? Do you feel? Wow, 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 wow. So, but DJ Kool did the same thing. He had just had one live album that is pure fire. And he doesn't even rap that good. And the beats, but it's just the energy. It just pops. And it's funky. And it's great. And it's as DC as it gets. Like, DC rap was never as lyrical as New York. I mean, it's a go-go town, so it's more riding the beat and even remixing hip-hops into go-go. Go-go's more call and response, and then just maybe some raps, but it's not like tricky wordplay. It's definitely a party vibe. It's always been a party vibe. And then the world is ready to party, and I want to party too, and we will party. as soon as I dodge a couple more deltas, I really can't wait to get this Cannabis Coffee Hour up and out and around the town. And I'm getting the equipment now. Like, I'm getting just everything streamlined, but I love doing these solo ones and talking to you and getting it off my chest. Oh, I went whitewater rafting, and I saw 2 bald eagles. I've never seen bald eagles before. I maybe seen one, but these were pretty close. And you could tell they had the white head and the black body, and they were huge. It was pretty. They're fucking rad birds. Let me tell you that. Shout out to bald eagles. I want to do some more rafting. Was fun. It was a little long, and my knees got sunburned. Like, I got everything but my knees. And my knees just got lit up. They were swollen. One knee was so red. It was just bright red, and it was just a big swollen. And I was just at home with my shirt off, sitting here rubbing fucking aloe on my swollen ass sunburnt kneecaps. I'll end it on that. I love you guys. I'm going to smoke some ganja to ease the sunburns and the aches and pains that we all go through with life and deal with the trials and tribulations. And I just want to say I'm thankful. I want to say thank you to all my friends and even enemies and weirdos. And, those guys make you better. You know, you got to rise above and deal. And then you got your friends that hold you down and say, hey, you can keep on doing it. And then you got to thank yourself. And thank yourself. And I thank you. And thank you for listening, and good vibes, and peace and love throughout the universe, forever and ever. Amen. Praise. Sweet Jesus, and Allah, and God, and Buddha, and just your mom, and your dad, that nice tree. You know what's good is a breeze. You know, when you feel a breeze. That's, oh man, good breeze. All right, you guys have been a cool breeze. Peace out.